would be possible. And I thank him for the country that I live in and all of you good people that I have to work with. And thank God I'm retiring. I also want to thank my family again. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for making the trip. And thanks for putting up with getting through the gate to get on base also. But it is, again, because of you and for you that I do this, and I appreciate your support along the way. My entire adult life, I have been with the Air Force. Ever since I left high school at 17 years old, I've known the Air Force, and you guys have been my support all along the way, and I thank you for allowing me to do that, allowing me to participate in deployments and being away from home, and always being my support through all of that. I thank you. I'm grateful for that. And I also want to thank all of you, the good people of the Air National Guard. Thank you all for being there, and everyone who's been in my career along the way. It's a good and honorable thing that we do to be in the Guard and to protect our country. And I thank all of you for being a part of this, and I have learned from all of you also. I would just like to share a little story of why the U.S. military is so important to my family, and why it is that we do what we do and to protect the greatest nation in the world. My mother was born in the Philippines in 1942. Not such a good year to be in the Philippines. The Japanese had overrun the Philippines. They'd actually overrun the American forces there too. Everyone was on the run. My grandparents, they left their village. My grandmother was pregnant with my mother. They left their village and hid out in the mountains because they were on the run from the Japanese. And my mother doesn't even know her exact birth date because they were hiding out. She was born in the mountains somewhere, and not in a hospital. And because that's what the Japanese were doing. They were chasing everyone. And the U.S. was there, but they had to leave. And General Douglas MacArthur said, "I shall return." And return he did. And he returned, and the U.S., the greatest military in the world, liberated the homeland of my parents. And the Filipinos were forever grateful for that. Because it's America, the beacon of hope. And we really mean that. The land of the free, the land of opportunity. And so when my parents became adults, they came to the U.S. in the 1960s. They came here in the 60s to pursue their professional degrees, their professional education, their professional careers. My dad went to Texas A&M with Rick Perry. And he got his PhD from there, and the plan was when he finishes his degree, he was going to go back and teach in the Philippines with his degree in chemical engineering. But then in 1973, President Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law in the Philippines. And my grandmother told my dad, it's not such a good idea to come back. You need to stay where you're at, stay in the great country that you're in right now. And so he did. And so he and my mom, they both had successful careers. They raised their family. And then it was, my turn, my generation's turn to have a successful career, to start a family. And so my family doesn't forget that, and you shouldn't either. That this is the greatest country in the world, the land of opportunity, and we need good people to protect that, to protect our way of life. Thank you all for what you do. And I'd like to give you one more example of what I have seen the National Guard do in times of war.